The degree of our polynomial term is just the power that we see. So this would be a third degree polynomial. You always want to write the polynomial in order. So you go from the biggest degree to the smallest, and the constant is at the end. If there's nothing written up here, that's your little invisible 1. And so the degree is just 1. They ask us a question like 15x minus x cubed plus 3. The degree of this term is 1. The degree of this is 3. And the degree of this is just 0 because it's a constant. And anything to the 0 power is 1, so this could be written as 3x to the 0 power, but we don't write that. We would want to write this, if this was our final answer, as negative x cubed plus 15x plus 3, because you want to go in order from the largest degree to the smallest. And the negative sign is the coefficient of the x cubed term, so it has to go with it. The greatest degree is 3, so the degree of the polynomial is 3. So you just take the highest degree, and that is the degree of the entire polynomial. What is the leading coefficient? The leading coefficient is just what's in front of that x cubed, and that is just a negative 1. Again, that's the invisible 1 there. You can write it if you want, but as we get better at this stuff, we don't want to be writing the invisible 1s in. When they ask us to find the sum, remember that cubes and squares do not mix and match. You cannot combine them. Just like when you have a plus b, you can't mix and match. When you have x squared plus x, you can't add them. This is already simplified. Versus when you have something like x squared times x, then you go ahead and you, same basis, add the exponents. That works with multiplication, not with addition. So how would we proceed here? Where are our like terms? You can only add like terms. Add and subtract like terms only. Okay, so only add and subtract like terms. So here are my cubes. Here are my squares. Here are just my x's. And here are my constants. So when I put all this together, what do I get? I have 2x cubed and 1x cubed. That's going to be 3x cubes. How many x cubes do I have? I have 3 of them. Now I'm asking myself, how many x squareds do I have? Minus 5 plus 2 is minus 3. So I have negative 3x squareds. How many x's do I have? Just one of them. How many of my constants do I have? Just negative 1. And so that is my final answer. I'm going to go and do the same thing on this one. Here are my x squareds. What's next? My x's. And then I have my constants. So, how many x cubes do I have? 3 plus 1 is 4. So I have 4x squareds. How many x's do I have? 1 plus 4 is 5. What about my constants? Negative 6 plus 10 is plus 4. Now find the difference. When you find the difference, don't forget to distribute the negative sign. It's very important because I need this negative to go here, here, and here. meaning my problem becomes 4n squared plus 5. Minus times a minus is a plus 2n squared. A minus times a plus is a minus 2n. A minus times a minus is a plus 4. So all I've done so far is distribute my minus sign. Now I need to look for like terms. So here are my n squareds. Now I need to look for my n's. Now I need to look for my constants. We have 4 plus 2 is 6n squareds. Minus 2n. We only had minus 2n. 5 plus 4 is 9. Same thing in the next one. Distribute this negative everywhere. Don't forget, otherwise you'll get them all wrong. So you leave the beginning part. Minus 3x squared. A minus times a minus is a plus. A minus times a minus is a plus. Now, let's pick out our like terms. Here's our squareds. Here's our x's. And then our constants. So, we have 4 minus 3 is just 1. Minus 3 plus 1 is minus 2. 5 plus 8, 13. And that's it. Now when we multiply, this is what we've been doing. Remember, if we have, for instance, 2x cubed times x cubed, we do the number part first, and you just have 2. And then x cubed times x cubed, same basis, so you add the exponents. So all I'm doing is I'm distributing. So I just worked out the first part. I got 2x to the 6 plus. Now we have 2x cubed times 3x squared. Do the number part first. We get 6. X cubed times x squared, same basis, so you add the exponents. Next part. Our next part says do 2x cubed and multiply it by negative 2x. And so, do the number part first. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. X cubed times x to the first power, same basis, add the exponents. So I have negative 4x to the 4th. Finally, I just do 2x cubed times 5, so you do the number part first, plus 2 times 5 is 10x cubed. And that's my final answer. I had 1, 2, 3, 4 terms here, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms here. So I'm just adding up this part because I had to distribute the 2x cubed. When you're multiplying two binomials, and I call these binomials because they have 2 terms. 2 is bi. 3 terms, I would have a trinomial. Whenever I'm multiplying 2 binomials, you must FOIL. FOIL stands for first, outer, inner, last. And I like to call this FOIL or fail, because if you don't FOIL, you will fail your test. So here's a little comic. A FOIL-proof method for multiplying binomials. Do FOIL. What does FOIL mean? It means you do the first, multiply them. So 2x times 3x, we're multiplying. So do the number part, you get 6. X times x, same basis. So you just add the exponents. Outer. So outer are these two. Those are the outermost terms. So 2x times 7, 2 times 7 is 14, and I have a plus sign, 14x. Then I do the inner. 5 times 3 is 15x. And then I do the last. And so that is 5 times 7 is 35. And then I go and I try and combine any like terms. So in order to FOIL, all I've done so far is multiply. I multiplied everything. Multiplied the first, multiplied the outers, multiplied the inners, and then I multiplied the last. Now I'm going to just go and try and combine like terms. Well, the only like terms that I see here are my x's. So I'll go ahead and just combine them and I will be done. So I have 6x squared plus 29x plus 35. Here's another FOIL problem. So I'm going to do first, so the number part is 3. X times x is x squared. Outer is plus 2x. The inner says negative 4 times 3x. So negative 4 times 3 is negative 12x. And then my last says negative 4 times positive 2, which is negative 8. So the term has a sign that's in front of it. It's attached. So now I go and I combine like terms. So I have 3x squared plus 2 minus 12 is minus 10x minus 8. And I'm done. Here's a couple more. So in this one I don't have any FOIL, right? I don't have two binomials, so I just do distribute. And x times 7x squared would be same basis, so you add the exponents, 7x cubed plus 4x. That's it. In this one we have two binomials, so we will FOIL or we will fail, your choice. First is just 2. A times a is a squared. The outer is a. The inner is 3 times 2 is 6a. And the last is plus 3. Now just combine like terms. 2a squared plus 1 plus 6 is 7a plus 3. The last problem, again FOIL. So the first is 4n squared. The outer is plus 20n. The inner is minus n. And the last says minus 1 times positive 5, which is a negative 5. Combine like terms. Plus 20 minus 1 is positive 19n. Alright, some more FOILing. First times first. 3a squared. Outer. Minus 6a. Inner. Plus 4a. Last. Minus 8. Combine like terms. 3a squared minus 2a. Because minus 6 plus 4 is minus 2. Minus 8. 4b times b. 4b squared. Outer. Minus 8b. Inner. Minus 5b. Last. Minus 5 times minus 2 is positive 10. Don't let that trip you up. So we're left with 4b squared minus 8 minus 5. So they're on the same team. So you have negative 13 of them plus 10. And we're done.